welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in less than 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. Thanks so much for listening. Today we are talking about Tropical Storm Harvey, why President Trump is getting sued, and the new iPhone. And much, much more, of course, all in less than 10 minutes. I'm Erica Mandy. Today is Tuesday, August 29th. You ready? Let's do this. So many updates about Tropical Storm Harvey today, so let's start with a visit from President Trump. It's happening today, and the LA Times says he'll go to areas affected like Corpus Christi, but not Houston, one of the hardest hit cities. So why? The Texas governor told CBS it could be dangerous and it could take away resources needed for emergencies or evacuations. Okay, so to the storm itself, the New York Times reports the death toll has now reached at least 10, and many people are still stranded. Thousands have been rescued, but emergency responders just can't keep up with it all. So the governor has activated the entire Texas National Guard, something like 12,000 Guard members, and they are needed. Keep in mind, Houston is the country's fourth largest city. Even volunteers with their own boats have now jumped in to help. And get this, the National Weather Service had to update its own maps. Yeah, they said they needed new colors just to help map all the rain accurately. They apparently added plum and pink to forecast so much frickin' rain. And here's the problem. It's already bad there, but it will probably still get worse. Experts say the flooding isn't expected to peak until Wednesday or even Thursday. And now Louisiana is bracing for Harvey too. CNN says there's even a state of emergency there. Areas like New Orleans and Baton Rouge are most at risk. Okay, two more things before we move on. One, AAA says gas prices are already higher around the country because of the storm, up by an average of 4 cents so far, and they will likely go up again. The storm shut down a bunch of refineries there in Texas. Also, if you see a picture of a big floating reddish-brown blob in the floodwaters, it turns out it's made up of fire ants. Yeah, they link together to create a floating island to survive. It looks pretty crazy, and apparently it does not feel good if you touch it. North Korea is at it again. Reuters reports the country fired a missile that actually flew over Japan. It apparently broke up and just fell into the ocean, but it's caused quite a stir. There was a text alert that had to go out in Japan for people to take cover just in case. Then South Korea responded. CNN says the Air Force dropped bombs on a simulated target, basically as a show of power that it can destroy North Korea's leadership if need be. Reminder, it was just a couple weeks ago the North Korean leader was having a threatening back and forth with President Trump. So the world is still watching what other missile launches could come next. Okay, big news for tech people. The new iPhone will likely be revealed in exactly 2 weeks. That's September 12th, for those of you who are ready to camp out at the front door of Apple. The Wall Street Journal says Apple is expected to show off 3 new iPhones and a smartwatch. Apparently, one of the phones may even feature facial recognition technology. Apple may have some competition when it comes to smartwatches. Fortune reports Fitbit released a smartwatch called Ionic. It has things like a GPS, a heart rate sensor, and personal coaching software. And of course, it can give you text and calendar notifications. So remember yesterday when we talked about Amazon buying Whole Foods and how it could lead to some cheaper prices at the grocery store? Well, it turns out there were even more changes than expected. The Washington Post reports people walked into Whole Foods and found Amazon smart speakers in the produce aisle. Yeah, smart speakers like, Alexa, do this for me. Well, apparently those speakers even had signs around them saying things like pick of the season and farm fresh, because, produce aisle. One person joked on Twitter they're excited for the Kindles and kale combo to come next. President Trump is getting sued. 2 sets of transgender people, along with the ACLU, filed lawsuits against the president and top military officials. It's over the ban on openly transgender people serving in the military. Reminder, President Obama had lifted that ban during his presidency, but now President Trump just put it back in place, like on Friday. BuzzFeed News breaks down the lawsuits. They basically say the policy violates the constitutional rights of transgender Americans who want to serve in the military, and that the ban is all political. But President Trump and some Republicans say transgender service members disrupt the ranks and add unnecessary medical costs. The ban stops new enlistments, but does allow discretion on transgender people already serving in the military. Okay, some other things to know today. There was a shooting at a public library in a small town in New Mexico yesterday. 2 people died, 4 were hospitalized. It happened in Clovis, which is east of Albuquerque. Reuters says the shooter was arrested, but no word yet on a motive. There's a new Martin Luther King Jr. statue in Atlanta. It, of course, pays tribute to the civil rights leader. Time reports MLK's daughter was there at the public debut yesterday, along with about 800 people. You know the Red Bull energy drink? Well, the heir to that company's fortune has been dodging Thai police for nearly 5 years. And now there's a new alert that calls on other countries to find him and hand him over. The Associated Press says the 32-year-old is accused of hitting and killing a Thai police officer with his Ferrari, then leaving the scene. Vorayuth Uvidya is the grandson of the guy who started Red Bull. A tennis pro just made a comeback. Maria Sharapova just won her first major tennis match since she failed a drug test. She was once number 1 in the world, but then she was suspended for 15 months for using a banned substance. Well, she's back, and yesterday she won. Now she'll go on to round 2 in the U.S. Open. And that's it. You are officially ready for your Tuesday. As always, you can read more and see all the stories I referenced today on thenewsworthy.com. Just look for today's episode. All the links will be there for you. I also want to take a moment to thank everyone for the amazing feedback after day 1 yesterday. I'm so glad to hear you find value in this. And if you're new and you like it, please reach out to me on social media and let me know, or just leave a review in the review section wherever you listen. And finally, come back tomorrow. I'll have more news for you all in less than 10 minutes. Until then, have a great day.